Today we're going to look at the Veer-Back, a pick-and-roll defensive tactic that's becoming more and more popular in today's NBA. A Veer-Back is an adjustment to the popular drop coverage that most teams play against the middle pick-and-roll. Before getting into the Veer-Back concept, I want to show a couple clips of the drop coverage executed without any Veer-Backs. Here you see the Spurs defensive big flat and dropped way back below the screen. The guard works to get back in front of the ball and square it up. The Veer-Back is a built-in adjustment for the defense for when the guard gets downhill too quickly off the middle pick and roll against the dropped big. Right here, it becomes clear that Wall's simply moving too fast and the Bulls' defensive guard won't be able to get back in front of him. What happens next is a Veer-Back is executed, a switch between the guard and the big. As the big switches onto the ball handler, it's the guard's job to get into the roller's legs and not allow him an easy path to the rim. It's important for both players to have understanding and a feel for when this Veer-Back is needed, but for most NBA teams, it is the guard's call that triggers a switch because they feel like he understands and knows when he's beat and not going to be able to get back in front. Like I mentioned, the Veer-Back is an adjustment within the drop coverage of when the guard is beat and the offensive player, the ball handler, gets downhill. But you'll see some teams are more prone to doing this than others. One thing you'll see on a lot of teams is against any kind of snake dribble on a middle pick and roll, the Veer-Back is almost an automatic. A Veer-Back can be a very effective tool to take away the dangerous pick and pop player, as you see in these three clips. A Veer-Back isn't solely reserved for high pick and rolls. Here you see several clips of it being used in a side pick and roll concept with the ball handler getting to the middle of the floor and the guard defender getting back in front of the roll man and cutting into his path. Here again, you're seeing a Veer-Back used to defend a side pick and roll, but now this is when the defense is engaged in an ice coverage in which they're keeping the ball handler on the sideline and not allowing him to the middle of the floor to use the ball screen. One thing you got to look at is just how physical these guards are in getting into these bigs' legs and not giving them a clear path to the rim for an offensive rebound or a roll. Obvious disadvantage to the Veer-Back concept is that you end up with quite a size mismatch. The Utah Jazz do something interesting in executing a triple switch to get away from that mismatch with the low man on the weak side of the floor moving to take on the roller and kicking the guard out to the weak side to take his man.